Welcome to the new, improved, and streamlined process for getting a website on Toastmost.org, which is the easiest way to take advantage of the software developed from the WordPress for Toastmasters project. If you already have an account, maybe you belong to a club that uses the Toastmost.org service, you could log in to get started a little bit more quickly. But if I'm starting from scratch, I'll start by signing up from the email list. The email confirmation message I get will include a link that I can use to complete my user registration and then also set the basic parameters for my club website. We put in our typical schedule and meeting time and click submit. And we'll get back a page welcoming us to our new club website. It tells us we need to finish the site setup. This is something that's new where I'm trying to simplify that process of getting started. So we're going to take the credentials that we just created, the password that's been assigned to us, which was sent to us by email, and we'll log in with that. Now there's a whole bunch of options and features available through these menus over on the left, but we're going to ignore those for right now. And this form is going to ask me some basic questions about how I want to organize my meeting. How much time do we allow for the preliminaries? How many speakers do we have at the typical meeting? How long do we allow for table topics, assuming we do table topics? And do we do that before speakers or after speakers or at the very end of the meeting? What are the typical supporting roles that we have in our meeting? Do we have an eye counter and a body language monitor and a grammarian? Here we changed humorist to joke master, which is what my club calls it. My fictitious club, that is. And then time for closing the meeting, time we might want to have a break sometime in the meeting. So this is a 5-minute break that we're going to do before speakers. And we go through these choices and we're going to update the template from the very generic boilerplate one that I have to be a little bit more specific to your club. You can customize it more later. Next, you have the option of changing your password, which I'd encourage you to do. If you just got the password emailed to you, you should change it to something that you can remember, but make it a reasonably hard one at the same time. Make it something that is not going to be easily hacked. So pay attention to that little password strength meter there. So I'm going to change this. There's one that's pretty good. And I'm going to copy that. So, because I'm going to need it later. I need it in just a moment. And at the same time, it's a good idea to invite in some other people who can help you kick the tires on the website, who can experiment with signing up for roles. Maybe you give them some administrative rights so that they can also play with customizing the agenda. You can do 4 or 5 of these. Now you'll have the option of later you can import the whole user or member spreadsheet that you get from Club Central. That's a quick way of setting it up. Now, if I've changed my password, I need to log in again using that new password. Remember, I copied it, so I'm going to paste it in here. And actually, I used the LastPass service to help me remember my passwords. Whatever your system is, you're going to need that password for later. And now we're back on this screen that gives us suggested next steps. First on the list is editing our home page. We want to tell everybody how special this club is. Now, before we dive into that, we might want to look at some documentation. There's some right here on the page, as well as links to other resources on the WordPress for Toastmasters website. But part of the point of using WordPress is we want a more versatile platform for showing off what makes our club special. Now, because we set this up to register guests, there's this register guests widget right up top. We'll start by adding a little bit of extra text about what is special about our club, the fact that we're meeting virtually currently, and hope to get back to meeting in person soon. There's a bunch of boilerplate content in here too, that some of which you can keep if you find it useful. I'm going to take it all out and put in material that is more specific to my club rather than generic content about Toastmasters. So we'll assume that these are folks who maybe already have some idea what Toastmasters is. We just want to tell them why this club is so special. So this is essentially a web-based word processor. We can type things in, but we can also insert other kinds of media, such as images. And so I'll go grab an image, and this is a generic stock photo from Toastmasters.org, but let's just suppose that this is our club. So part of the point is you want to put in images about your club, what makes your club special. So I'm adding a caption and also something that is good for search engine optimization. It's also used by screen readers for the blind, is some alternate text about what is the image. So you see this sidebar for the properties of each block. So there are different properties that are associated with images as opposed to image galleries, as opposed to videos, as opposed to regular paragraphs, as opposed to headings. So you can change these things to be formatted the way you want. And it's going to take a little bit of learning, but it is worthwhile. But that's what we have so far. We'll go back to the wizard then, and let's look at viewing the sign-up page for our meetings. And we can try signing up for a role. I'll be Toastmaster of the day for this meeting. And as soon as I sign up, it prompts me, would you like to also sign up for the next meeting? We're trying to get people in deeper. So for this one, I'll actually sign up to speak. I'll pick my path and my level in my project and put in a little bit of information, my speech title, introduction that I want the Toastmaster of the day to give when he or she introduces me. So we'll save that. Okay, we can look and see on the agenda that I'm now signed up to speak. And this page here for speech introductions is where the Toastmaster of the day would find my introduction. And if everybody put that in, they'd have one nice neat sheet of paper that they could print out before the meeting and take with them, or view on their phone or whatever. Now at this point you may have a website that's good enough for you to start with. I don't want to overwhelm you with lots of fancy details. If this is good enough for you to have folks come in and at least start experimenting with. But there are some more advanced options available from this screen. Now, if you want to make some fancier adjustments to your agenda, at some point you're going to want to learn how to use the agenda editor. So these are all your meeting roles and the stage directions for your meeting, which I call agenda notes, are loaded in here as different blocks. And I'm clicking on the move up and move down buttons to rearrange things. And I can also associate time with a specific role or a specific bit of stage direction, such as opening of the meeting. And once I've done that, I'll click to update all the existing events that were based on that template. So that's my meeting template. That's my generic, the way we usually do things model in the software. Let's see, Joke Master is there to be as a role to sign up for, and we can see that a little bit of time is now associated with it, and it's after Topics Master, which is not where it was before. Now, suppose you're meeting online. That might be something that's kind of relevant these days. If we're encouraging guest registrations, we might want to tell people on the confirmation message they get when they register, and that is emailed to them, how to sign into our meeting. So we can customize this to include our Zoom link, the standard Zoom link that we use every week. This assumes you're using the same one every week. It is possible to customize those confirmation messages on a per event basis, but here we're just using a standard one. And here's the registration form that I've set up. And again, this form can also be customized. It's more detailed than I'm going to get into right now. But we'll put in our information. And we're going to check off a couple things. Say, yes, it's okay to add me to your email list. And yes, I consent to your privacy policy. And when they register, there you can see the Zoom link is there, and it's also in the version that is emailed off to them. What else? We might want to change the design of our website. So we can do that using this Customize tool. So this gives us all sorts of options. So we're loading a preview of the site into this tool, and we can go change various design aspects, such as the background color of the page. So if we don't like that blue, we could make it a pink or a red or a yellow. And I'm going to try a very light yellowish color. And we'll publish that. And when we exit out of this, we can now see that on the site. And you can notice there's a customized link up top here as well. So we can go back into the customizer. If we want to make a more dramatic change, we might want to change the whole theme, the whole design of the website. So I can choose one of these. Let's try this one. Now I'd be able to change those blue drapes. That doesn't have to be the image up top, but this is a general design that I can take advantage of. And when we close out of this, we see that the whole design of the website has changed. Okay, back in the instructions here, I'm going to click on Add Members. So now things are starting to look good. I've got this pretty much where I want it. At least we're going to try and use it for our next few meetings. And to add members, the quickest way to add them all is to go into Club Central and you go to this roster. Now I'm blurring out some private details, but there's a button there that says Import Excel or CSV. You download that file. Choose that file from my downloads folder and import it. And when I load this in here, I've cheated. I put in some test names and emails, but this is the contact information. We can check to see if that appears to be right, make any corrections, and submit that. And at this point, we're going to get back confirmation messages that'll be emailed out to each of the members so they can sign up, get a password on the site, and start using it productively.